Hello friends, Ben Ochart here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's do a very quick lap of the fish room, give you an update on how all the fish are doing in here. And let's go ahead and jump right into it, especially some of the more recent arrivals to the fish room, like the puppy dogs that I have in the 90 gallon. Let's go ahead and take a look at all of them. When I say puppy dogs, of course, I'm referring to the redhead Tapajos, who are just coming along very, very nicely. You can see some great markings, striping on the tail, great color on the pectoral fins, and you can see some of these are turning into just some beautiful specimens. The Congos, of course, continue to hang out at the back, but they are beautiful, always super active. I think they'd be almost too active for a tank with discus in it, like the Buenos Aires and the Congos would be probably too active for a discus tank. The discus, of course, being very slow to eat, so they might not give the discus a chance to eat. Even this red spotted serum really has to work to get to the food, and probably gets to it mostly because he's so much larger. Otherwise, these other much faster fish are getting to the food much sooner. So I'm having to like feed to different sides of the tank just to make sure everybody gets fed. But this tank is doing very, very well. A little camera hog. Jumping over to the planted tank, of course you probably saw my update on this tank. I added those new plants from the co-op, some different types of Java fern. You can see here the plants I put in are just doing spectacular. They're getting new growth already. Didn't have any melt back at all. The banana plants are being pushed around by snails and cory cats. There's one right there. Looks like he's getting a lighter green banana. All the bananas are pretty dark green. There's a Anubias that I added, pushed into that wood. It's an older Anubias. It's doing great. So this tank is doing very, very well. I want to add some more dwarf blue rainbows. I think that would be a real nice centerpiece fish to keep. The other ones didn't last that long, so I'm not entirely convinced that these water parameters that I have here are perfect for them, but overall, I mean, I still have one that's from that original batch, seems to be doing okay, so I'll add some more. Hopefully I'll get a more hardier batch this time. I'm continuing to get little plecos. There's that little auto there I've had forever. I'm continuing to get little baby plecos everywhere. I'll probably have to curb that at some point because they'll take over the aquarium. Maybe add a few more little red embers. I am adding a couple fish to this aquarium. I'll show you here in a second. These fish are now certifiably disease-free and pretty hardy, having gone through what they went through in quarantine. So I'll be adding a couple more neons and some rasboras to that 55 gallon, but that 55 gallon could use more red embers, the dwarf rainbows, even more neons. I mean, I'd love to have a group of about 20 neons in there. I love the group of rummy nose I have in there. Maybe add some more rummy nose at some point. But because the fish are small, you can add a good number of them and not really impact the bioload that much. Here are the big boys in the 300 gallon. Hoping I feed them. I'll be feeding them in a minute. They love that new mix I got from Northfin. They also get a little bit of frozen krill every now and then. A lot of color. Hard to beat African cichlids when it comes to color and activity. Very, very active when they're healthy and not being harassed. They're very, very active and very interactive. You can say the same thing about the South American fish. They're also very, very active. They were all hanging around the bottom of the tank. I was wondering what the heck is going on, and it looked like the cord for the controller had come out of the wall, and so the tank cooled down to about 65 degrees. Anyway, I caught it, plugged it back in. The tank's back up to 78, between 78 and 80, so everybody's happy again. I did everything very gradually. I raised the temp gradually. I didn't want them to go into some kind of a shock. I'm just glad I was home and caught it. And no one seems to be in any kind of stress because of that gradual drop and gradual rise. And I imagine in nature their temperatures do fluctuate, but probably not as far down as 65 degrees, but they're okay. I thought, uh-oh, maybe I'll have an ick breakout, but no, everybody's okay. Well, if you saw my last video, you know the story about this tank. So go ahead and say goodbye to my red tear, who is going to be rehomed. A series of events have resulted in me not wanting to continue the project, and so he will be taken over to the local fish shop, which is a shame because I really love the guy, but just looking at the long-term plans of the fish room, unfortunately he doesn't really fit in there. So at any rate, he'll be over at the Aquatic Critter if you want to pick him up. But this tank here is going to become a discus tank. And for the details on how I'm going to do that, you should watch the other video. I'll put a link up above. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate it. If you'd like to join me on Saturdays for a live stream, great group of fish keepers get together Saturdays at 11 a.m. Central at the Cichlids and Coffee live stream. Hope to see you there. And if you'd like to support the channel, consider becoming a Garage Gang member. This is a garage, and a Garage Gang member starts for as little as $3 a month as a Patreon supporter. And that's also very, very appreciated if you can do that. And of course, if you like the video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit that bell, let YouTube know that something good is going on here. And let's get the channel up over 60,000 subscribers. What do you say? All right. Thank you so much for tuning in, and check out this playlist right up here. It's got my best tips. And if you want to subscribe, hit me in the mug right there. All right. Thank you, my friends. I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.